Welcome everyone to the Knitting by the Sea podcast. My name is Lisa. I am Serotonin Knitting on Instagram and on Ravelry, and I welcome you to my home. I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, which is just about 20 miles north of Boston, and I live in a pretty old house here. It was built in 1750 and then transitioned to a residence in 1850, so I feel pretty lucky to live here. This is a knitting and crafting podcast, so today we will go through some of my finished objects and my works in progress, including a little bit of spinning that I've started to do again, and then we'll have some chatter at the end for a catch-up. So let's get started. Finished objects. I do have a few this time, amazingly. The first one I think that I will show you today is a pair of Helmsley socks, and they're by Emma Barnaby. She has lots of sock patterns, and I really like them. This one is very simple rib pattern, but it came out, I think, came out great. I did finish the pair. They do need to have the ends woven in, but that's okay. So this is the first pair. You can see it's just a very simple rib pattern. I always do my socks toe up with a short row heel and then up to the cuff. It's just the way that I like to do them. So really when I buy any sock pattern, it's really for the pattern piece. I ignore whether it's a top down sock or a toe up or really the instructions for any other piece of the sock except for the pattern. But I really like this a lot. This is the Mondrin yarn by Rosa Pomar. And I got this in a Woolly Thistle sock bag kit that I got last year. And this is the yarn here. It's really fun, and I have quite a bit left over. I don't know what I'll use it for, but something, I'm sure. Of course, for me, it's just now starting to not be sock season anymore. I mean, we have a little more time to go, but pretty soon I won't be wearing socks at all, and they'll just go in my very big sock drawer, which you can actually see is in you can't see the socks in there, but that first drawer is full of socks over there. I'm actually filming in the office space that I use. So you can see there's some things, there's some of Mark's rowing medals back there. And that's a very old guitar that we might have refurbished at some point in time. But it's nice in here because I have the setup. I have this nice old chair that we brought up here that the cat usually just uses as a sleeping location during the day when I'm in here working, but I chased her out this morning, and I have some nice light. Actually have the window open just a little bit. It's kind of cloudy and it might rain a little bit today, but the air coming in is just starting to get, ooh, what was that noise? I think that was a truck going by. That it's just starting to get a little bit warmer. So that's really nice. So that's my first finished object for this month. My second that I have is the Riggy's cowl. I had started this before, so you've seen this. This is a pattern by Gudrun Johnson, and if I remember, I'll put some pictures up of all these projects and show I'll give the Ravelry link down at the bottom in the description as well. And this is the cowl here. It's really very nice. It's a very simple cowl that you just wear over your neck, so you could wear it inside your jacket. You could actually wear it on top of a turtleneck as a really nice accent piece. This is the piece, if you'll remember, I think I used a mix of Ralma full garn yarn that I had from another project before, and I experimented a couple of times to get the texture that I wanted. And I think that I did. I mixed this with a single skein of a white fingering yarn, and it came out to be really nice fabric, what I really wanted. And then what you do on this is that you do each side. So you do the two triangles, you do each side, or parallelograms, whatever they are, whatever shape it is, and then you put it together in the back. Sew it together, so then it's in a round, and then you sew them together. You sew the pieces together here. And I used a contrast yarn for this, which is what she recommends that you do. It's kind of fun. You can make it any color you want. It's really nice that way. I did also use some duplicate stitch. I don't know if you can see here, but on one side, when I actually did the 3 needle bind off to put these together, the purl side, I think Is it on this side? Yeah, the pearl side kind of popped out in the cream color. And so what I did is I just took an embroidery needle and I took the yarn and I just went over it all the way down so that it's a solid color. And you don't see that. So that's just another, a little trick that you can use sometimes in your knitting to maybe cover up some mistakes or something that you've done or you just don't quite like the look of. So this is I'm very happy with this. Again, this is probably going to go in my drawer of hats and neckwear for next winter. But I'm really happy that it was finished. And it's a great pattern, and I can see myself making more of them in the future. So, Riggy's Cowl by Gudrun Johnson, really, really nice. The third finished object that I have, I think is a fun one. I had some hand spun, and I do not remember what this is, but I had this beautiful hand spun in my stash, and I still have a full skein of it here, as you can see. But when the gray is the hand spun, and then I applied it, which I often do with just a skein of lace weight yarn, and this was black lace weight yarn. So I held them together when I applied it, and it comes out to be this really beautiful marled texture. And what I decided to do with this is make, I'm not going to say this right, calorimetry. I hope I have that right. This is an old pattern, probably 10 or 15 years old now, and this was in Knitty.com. And Knitty.com is actually still around. I didn't realize it. I think about it every now and again, and I'll go look, and I'm like, oh, it's still going on. So Knitty.com is a monthly online knitting magazine, and it's all free. So the patterns are all free, and they have a mix of different patterns on there. They'll have sweaters and headbands and socks and scarves and shawls, all kinds of different things in there. Sometimes there's kind of a theme for the month. But it's just a really nice resource. And they also have some resources on spinning. So they'll often have a pattern that works really well with hand spun, which is really nice. And I have forgotten to go to it, and now it's on my radar to kind of go in and check and see. And like I said, it does come out monthly, which is great. And the patterns are completely free. I'll give a link to it down at the bottom. But this is a pattern that was in Knitty.com, and as I said, like years and years and years ago, and I made a couple of them, and I haven't made one in a while, and I've been thinking about wanting to make one. And it's really it's a fun headband, so it will go around like this. And I have to put I'll just put a big button on one of the sides here, and I have a big bag of buttons. A friend of ours from Japan, Yuki, sent me an entire bag of buttons, so I've been kind of going through that as time goes by. But I'm going to find a big button in there, and I'm going to use that. And you basically just put the button on. There's already the way that this is constructed. There really is already a buttonhole. You don't need to create any buttonholes. You're using short rows and going back and forth. So once you do that, and well, once I weave in the ends as well and put that on, and I really like this. This is perfect. It's perfect for somebody with short hair, but it's really great with long hair too. I think the picture has the woman who's modeling it has a big bun on the top of her head or a big ponytail on it, which is great because it comes right out the back. But this is perfect for me because sometimes I just want to have something that's going to cover my ears and not necessarily cover all of my head. So this is going to go in my drawer over here full of winter wear, and I'll look forward to wearing it next winter. But I had a great time. Quick pattern. This took a couple of nights for me to do. Used up the hand spun. I really like that too. So it's nice and bouncy, and I just loved it. And so I can see myself making a lot more of these. I just have to remember that I really liked this, but this is definitely going to be on my go-to, like in between projects. When I finish up a sweater, I'm going to make 1 or 2 of these, I think. So hold me to it, but I think I'm going to try to do that because they're going to be just perfect. And I really liked it. I think it's a fun project and just something to kind of throw on when you need it. And as I said, I will link it in the bottom and take a look because it's free patterns every single month. So let me put this back in the bag so I don't forget that I need to get the button and weave in the ends on it. And the last one that I'm going to show you, you've seen this, I think you've seen this on Instagram. You probably saw this last year. I've been working on it for a long, long time. But it is the Wintry Lake wrap by Greta Menson. And it has been so much fun to work on. I mean, literally, I've probably been working on this for at least 2 years, if not 2.5 years. And it was just one of those projects that I would pick up if I felt like doing some and then put it down again. It's full of cables, but the needle size is large, so that's one thing. So it goes fairly quickly, and it's all charted. It's all charted. It is a pattern that is charted, which is fine. I love, you know me, I love knitting by charts. If I can have a chart, it's so much better for me than actually reading the instructions. And I used, did I bring the yarn? Oh, here it is. I did. This is the yarn here. This is a superwash merino worsted twist by Cloudborne Fibers. I think I just have this skein left, so I'll use this for something else. But I did the same thing with this project. I took this and I held it together with with some lace weight black, and that just gave it a little bit more depth. The same kind of thing. I remember when I started it, the fabric was a little loosey-goosey. It was just kind of too loose. And so I'm like, you know what, I am gonna pull out some of my lace weight that I have in a cone. I do try to do that, so I have some available for me when I want to do this kind of a thing. And that was just perfect. It gave it the right heft and just the right texture for this project. So let me see which is the right side. I think, yes, I think this is the right side, but it is beautiful. I'll also at the end I'll put a picture, because this will be hard to see all of the different cable movement on this, but there are some really large cables that travel up into smaller cables, and that goes back and forth. It's really just very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And it will be a perfect piece to just throw on over a turtleneck next winter for work. So I'm really looking forward to this. I might get maybe I'll ask at Christmas for a nice wooden shawl pin to go along with this, but this would be nice. Yeah, it's beautiful, and the addition of the little bit of the black lace really, as I said, gives it some real depth and just really pulls it together. So I am looking forward to using this. This will, once again, I waited to weave in the ends until I blocked it. Now this was quite the epic block. I had to use my yoga mat and just lay it all the way out, and it probably took 4 or 5 days. And the cat would sit on it a couple of times, or she'd walk on it and go, "Ooh, it's a little wet." And I knew when she actually sat and curled up on it, well, that's probably all dry now. So our cat loves the knitwear, loves to sleep on the knitwear. But yep, so I'm very, very happy with this, and it was a great project. Certainly would keep something to keep your mind going if you like that type of a thing. It is not mindless. I did watch TV while doing it, but you know, and again, on this kind of a piece, I will put markers everywhere there is a repeat. So I don't get to the end of the row and go, wait, where am I on here? So I know when I'm doing it. So usually the repeats, you know, 10, 20 stitches. So I know if I look at it and there's something looks off, I can just go back and I can see if there's a miscount on one of the pieces, and I always do that. I rarely use a lifeline. I don't think I ever use a lifeline, but I do put in markers for each repeat on a cable piece like this, and that's, for me, I find that works very, very well. So very, very, very pleased with this, and this will be a very nice accessory next winter. All right, I think that's all I finished this time around, so let's move on to some works in progress. Works in progress. let's see, I have my table here. What am I going to start with? I think I will start with the Yomp by Kate Davies. I spent a lot of time talking about this last month when I podcast. This is a bottom-up yoked sweater with patterning all over it, and it's a kit that I purchased for myself because I really liked the yarn colors, and I've never used her actual yarn before, so I wanted to try that, and that's what I am doing. So I can show you, this is one of the skeins of her yarn. It's very, very lovely, very soft. It's very nice to work with. I was really pleased with it, but I have a whole bag for this sweater. And here it is. I've worked quite a bit on it. I am almost ready to split for the sleeves of this. And I will put a picture up, so let me catch where I am. There we go. Perfect. Let's pull this out. So this is where I am. So it starts out with just a real twisted rib at the bottom with all the different colors that are going to be in the sweater, and then it moves into this pattern piece. And if you remember, I had some issues with the way the chart started right down here at the bottom, but I fixed that so that now that the first blip of blue is over the white rather than being over the colored rib part. This is lots of fun to do, easy, just once you get going, again, I always say this, but once you get going on a project like this, you know where you are just by looking at your knitting. So that's really a good piece for me. Keeps your brain just a little bit engaged, and then the rest you're just kind of able to knit and keep it going. So now it's almost at the sleeve. So what I will do is you bind off some for the underarm on both sides, add a couple of stitches, and then you just put this on hold, and you do the sleeves up to the point where they go into to the underarm, and then you attach the entire piece together with the two sleeves, and then you do the lovely yoke pattern. So I'm probably pretty much close to being halfway done. I think the sleeves will go fairly quickly. They look exactly like this, so they're going to have the cuff will have this color ribbing at the bottom, and then they look exactly like this, and then it will all attach together, and you have to make sure it tells you where to end so that the sleeves are joined in and the patterning is seamless. I had somebody ask about what the inside of it looks like for this, so that's what it looks like for me. So the blue yarn has the floats in it going across, and the floats are four stitches across. So that's a usual thing to do on that, but it's pretty. It looks fairly flat already, but it will block out even better, and they'll pop even more. I usually try, when I'm doing this, doing a pattern like this, I try to be mindful about it. So I'm always, when I'm knitting, I'm always pushing the pieces that I've already knitted out so that they're stretching, so that the floats never get too tight. I try to be very, very conscious of that, but I think it's going well, and hopefully the next time you see this, I should have, at least one sleeve done, but I could potentially have two sleeves done and have those attached and be starting to work on the yoke. This is really, really pretty. It's going very fast. Once you get to this piece, it just keeps going and going. I have to be careful when I do something like this. I really have to measure it, because otherwise I would have just kept on going. Like, I don't know where I am. Let me check later on, and then have to pull back. But I'm really pleased with it. The yarn I said is really, really nice. I'm really glad that I decided to just go ahead and get the kit that included the yarn. It was a treat, and I'm glad I did it for myself. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this pattern. Let's see what else. Since I finished the Helmsley socks already, I have cast on another sock. I work in Boston. I work 5 days a week, but I work in Boston 2 days a week. So I have a commute to do. And if I take the bus, I will spend that first 20-25 minutes knitting. So it's usually some type of a sock pattern that I have going. And then, you know, at lunchtime, I can knit again when I'm there. So I usually kind of have a sock on the needles and just leave that to be my commuter and work knitting. This time I have this I had a crazy Zauberball. You see these are German. It's a German yarn company, and it's marled but with kind of marled and self-striping all at the same time. They're really a fun company. I did get this also in the Woolly Thistle sock bag that I purchased last year as well. So, and I decided I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was going to try a couple of different patterns, and I'm like, you know what? It's just, the yarn is so crazy. I think you just need to. For me, I just wanted to let the yarn be the forefront here. So really, what I'm just doing, I'm just doing a 2 purls for knits. So I'm doing a 4x2 rib. And you can just see it. And that really just gives me a little bit of interest. Again, toe up. I'll just do the patterning on the front of the sock. I might do it on the back as well when I finish the foot. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But you can see what just plain knitting would be on this. Really fun. I can't remember, I don't have the tag. I can't remember if it has any nylon in it, but I've knit a pair of socks with this yarn before, years and years ago, and it held up really well. So I don't anticipate any problems with this. Of course, you know, I have so many pairs of socks that I probably don't wear them very often. So this will be lucky if it, you know, gets worn like 4 times next winter. That's why I just have a drawer full and just pull out a pair when I want to go. And I have socks that I've just had for years. They don't often wear out. So this is really cool. I love it. You can see this is really pretty purpley colors. And this just makes me happy. I just like watching. And again, it's the same kind of thing. If you get going on it, like I just want to keep going because I want to see what the next color changes is gonna be like. So super happy. These are just you know, as I said, no rush on these. Just my commuter knitting here. The third project is one I just recently started, and I'm really excited about it. It's called the Imbolc Shawl, and it's by Paulina Consola. And I'm using my handspun on it, and it looks very different in handspun than it does her knitted sample, but I think it's going to be really pretty. And let me show you the handspun that I did were from Rolex that I purchased from Hikari Handmade, and this is the end of it here. So you can see I had never spun with Rolex before, and it was a really fun process. And I finally got back to this. I've had these Rolex I probably for maybe 2 years. I just never got to them, but this is real pretty. So this is what it ended up looking like on the bobbin. And again, because I always like to do this, I plied it with this lace weight. I think this is probably a mohair. I forget what this is, but it's just a really beautiful, pretty lace weight. It really doesn't change anything, but it gives it a little bit of, again, added strength and a little bit of added depth. Plus, you get to use all the full length of your actual hand spun rather than spinning it and then plying it together on itself, which you could certainly do that as well. Let me see if I do. And this is how it came out once it's plied up. So it's got these really deep reds and browns and some greenish yellows in there, and looks really, I think it looks really beautiful. And the Imbolc it's an interesting pattern because it starts out at the first side of it it starts out with some cabling, and then it moves into some textured patterning. I think her sample had I can probably put a picture of it up here too, but her sampling had this red, kind of a brownish gold color, and that's what, and then it moved into some cream, two different kind of cream colors that she did. I'm thinking of doing something completely different with mine. As you can see, this is the first part, and it looks all scrunched up because again, it's cabled, so it won't shine until it is blocked. But this is how it has come out. It's very difficult. It's really very difficult to see the cabling on it. But I think it will be fine once it blocks out. It'll just be really interesting to see. Let's see that here. What I'm going to do, which I already decided, I have ordered some yarn that will, I'm hoping that it's actually the same color. We'll see when it gets here. But what I would like to do is that once I finish this cabled part, and I think I have 1 or 2 more sections to go, and then you move into the next section. And what I am going to do is, rather than use a cream color, I think I'm going to try to see if what I ordered was good, but I want to pick up this reddish color instead. So it will be all these dark fallish colors here, and then move into this really beautiful kind of, it's almost kind of a watermelony, but a deeper red color. So I kind of guessed. I did order some online. I'll see when it gets here. If it doesn't work, I'll decide I'll use that yarn for something else, and then maybe make some other decisions. But I'm hoping that it does, because I think it would be really nice to have all this dark with little pops of red, and then move into this really kind of, it's almost, I think in this country, you would know if you're an American, if you go and get a soft ice cream and you can get a cherry dip and on the ice cream, and it starts out as a liquid. They put the soft ice cream into it and then take it out, and then it hardens automatically, and so you have this cherry dip all over your soft serve ice cream. But that's kind of the color that I'm in my head. That's what I'm thinking of, and so I hope that that's kind of the color that when I ordered so that's kind of what's like playing around in my head. So that should be really nice. But again, and this is charted, of course, because it's cables. It's charted, and we'll kind of go from there and see what it's like. But it's a really fun. I like working cables. I find them to be interesting and fun to do. And yeah, this was a really fun one. It's a newish pattern. She's been doing several different shawl patterns to pick up the different seasons of the year. And I'll put a link down in the description box and a picture of it here, so you can see what it is. But I'm really happy with this. I'm glad to do this. Pauline has been she's been doing this for years and years. I think I want to say she's from Finland, and she also does a podcast too. So that's real fun as well. So she talks about her knitting designs and just the thought process and things behind it. So I'm excited to continue on with this. I'm almost at the point where I'm just waiting for that that other yarn to show up, and then I can kind of move on. So I'm kind of like holding this back and working on the yump, but that's really what's been going on with that project. And because I started spinning again, I'm happy to be doing it again, and I really like it. And so I have some fiber that I'm going to show you. One I already have all prepared and ready to go. This I'm going to do a fractal spin. So I split it into one of the first piece of it. I'm just going to spin end to end. And then the second piece I split up into 4 separate ones. And then I will spin each of those separately, but and then spin each of those individually, and then they'll wind it together. And what happens is that some of the colors will pop, and then some of them will be the same, and it just happens to work out that way. And it's just a way of not muddying the colors, the beautiful colors. Because sometimes if you just take the fiber, split it up, and spin it, and then ply it together, just depending upon the colors and how you're spinning his bed. Sometimes the colors get a little, I would just say they get muddied, so they don't look as bright or as exciting as they did in fiber form. So I'm going to try that this time anyway. But this is from 6 and 7 Fiber. Rachel is great. I've known her for a long time as well. She has been, she dyes some beautiful yarn. I used one of her skeins for one of close to Christmas when I was going to go down to Key West. And she has just started dyeing fiber. So this is her first foray into that. And this is some Targhee, and it is called Forever Young. And I'll link her at the bottom. This is her card. And this is the yarn. These are the pieces that I split up separately. And I have I just fluff them out into these little bird nests, and then I put a little tie on the end, so I know for each of these, this is the end I'm going to start with, because sometimes that gets kind of lost in the shuffle too when you've got these done and ready in the bag. So each of these will start out at the exact, so you can see here, it'll start out at the same color and move down the same way. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm really excited. I'm going to do the first full piece to start. I haven't put it on yet, but because I was waiting to show you the Hikari handmade. But now that I'm showing you, I can get that underway. And then I also I have two more. I keep forgetting that I have this. I have this beautiful Marblehead wool from Three Water Farm. So this is just beautiful, really nice. So I haven't even opened this one yet, so I'm looking forward to doing this. And then I also have this gorgeous, this was the beautiful colors on this one from Kingdom Fleece Fiberworks. It's Romney and Mohair. It's called Sultry. It's beautiful. This is her card here. And look at the colors on this one. Ooh. These will be perfect for something next fall. But I'll definitely be spinning this up in the near future. Looking forward to that. I'm really, look at that. That's actually very nice. I didn't see that, but on the back of it, it has a spin control card. So you can actually write down the information on your spinning. I should do that. I am a lazy spinner. I just want to go ahead and spin. So I never take notes. I know kind of what I'm looking for. I just do my default. I have the woolly winder now, so it's a little bit easier. And I kind of go with it. I probably should take more of an effort. It is the way you learn if you're writing it down. The only thing I keep track of is my yardage, so I know how many yards of a piece that I have. But I'm usually doing kind of a short draw, worsted spin. I don't know the wraps per inch, but I have a wraps per inch piece, so I can see that. I've never done grist, and I keep track of the yardage. People are like, you should be doing more, but you can only do so much. I just enjoy the spinning part of it. I like what I come out with, and it's just for me, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to impress anyone with my spinning, but I just enjoy it. So I have both of these in the queue to be done, as well as the other beautiful fiber that I'm going to start. So I think that is all I have to show you today. So let's move on to some chatter. What has been happening? Let's see. We just passed the 1-year anniversary of my mother-in-law's death, so it was a little bit kind of surreal for all of us to have remembered that. And just remembering what we were going through at this point last year and all the craziness we had ahead of us, that it's now behind us, which is really, it's really actually very lovely to have all that that stress gone away now. So now we can just enjoy her memories and talk about the fun things that she meant to us and that we all did together. So yeah, so that's the first thing that has now passed. And what else? Work-wise, I work in financial aid here and at a college. And if you're in this country, well, even if you're not in this country, you know the craziness that's been going on at the federal level. So the president basically wants to shut down the Department of Education. And the Department of Education is the department that handles the Pell Grants for students in college, and it also handles a loan portfolio for students in college. So they're making noises about, they've already cut an amazing amount of staff out of the department. They've shut down lots of regional offices. They shut down the regional office in Boston, so that's no longer here. But directly for us is the issues with the Pell Grant and the loan portfolio, because what they're also talking about is trying to move the loan portfolio to a different department. The latest, it was originally talked about going to the Department of the Treasury. Now they're talking about sending it to the Small Business Administration. Either one will mean a change, and I think in the world of financial aid, our biggest worry is the actual processing of the loans and the grants if it gets sent to another department who doesn't understand it. And I also think that the computer processes that they've been using are old, and so we are all fearful of it breaking and having no one there to fix it that understands, because they've just lost so many employees with institutional knowledge. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we originate the loans for the students in the fall. I think this year, what we've told students and families is that we anticipate problems, but they won't be problems for the students. There'll be problems at our processing end, and it shouldn't negatively affect the students in any way. The business office will, if they've completed a loan application and we know that money is out there, will be credited to their bill. How soon the actual institutions actually get the cash to draw it down will be another question, and we just can't say what's going to be happening in the future. So things are just, it's a little bit crazy. And as with everything with the federal government right now, it changes every day. Something new happens every day. So we're just kind of having to roll with the punches. Do what we do every day and do our best to serve the students at our institution. So we'll keep you posted. Yeah, I'm sure you'll see more about it in the news. So as we go on, we took a trip a couple of weeks ago to go back to Saratoga. Mark and I did, and we spent some time with my parents, and that was nice. Both parents they're getting older there. My dad has, he has a little bit of kind of dementia, and he can't see very well, if at all, anymore. So, and he's in his 90s, and my mom has just turned 88. So they're getting up there. So anytime we can spend with them is good time. We had a really nice dinner, and we just hung out and went to some of our old haunts, and it was really just a really nice weekend. Unfortunately, I got very, very sick when we got home. Ugh. So I think it's called a norovirus. So it's an intestinal and stomach virus. I was so sick. And I'm so surprised because usually it's Mark that gets this. So if you remember the last time I told you he was incredibly sick in Florida when we first got there, I think he had the same thing. I think he picked up something on the plane, and I must have picked up something anywhere we went. Who knows where we went that I could have picked something up. But I'm so thankful that he did not this time. He did not get sick. Ugh, it took over a week for me to feel better. I kept trying to I'm like, well, maybe I can work from home today. I feel a little bit better. And I tried to start, and I'm like having to text my boss. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just can't. I can't. She's like, will you just go to bed? Stop it. So it's just hard. Anybody just do it. It's hard to take a sick day when you know that there are things that need to be done. But I was so sick. It was just when I finally got over it, what a relief. And there's really nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do to prevent it. It's just a bacteria. There's no virus. There's no vaccine or anything you can do, and it's just luck of the draw. Luck of the draw. So it was my turn this time around, but I'm finally totally over that. It was really bad too because I was really getting into my exercising mode using the erg, which I'm back doing that now that I can. Now that I'm healthy again. So that's really, I'm going to continue to do that. I'm really enjoying it. And as I said before, I'm not journaling, but I'm keeping a note of the days that I actually do the exercising, and just really a light notation about what I'm eating during the day, just to kind of give myself an idea looking back. And even, when you try to write that down, I certainly tend not to try to grab a cookie or something, because I'm like, I shouldn't, because I'm trying to be a lot more healthy this year. So, but that's going really well. I'm enjoying it. As long as I have something crazy to watch on the television, I can erg for an hour, and which is really good. Sophia just purchased for herself I forget what it was called, just a walking pad. So it's not a full walking machine. It's really compact, but she's been getting on it, and she just will listen to an audiobook. And she came down yesterday. She goes, "Oh, I just did an hour. I didn't even realize I did that much on there because I was listening to an audiobook." So that was good. We have the weather is still kind of wet, as I had said this morning. I don't think it's raining right now, but it's very cloudy and it's very damp out. It's normal for April. This is April showers bring May flowers. Is that a saying everywhere, or is that just here, or in English? Or American saying, April showers bring May flowers. We learned that when we're kids in school. But it's true. So it's kind of wet here. The trees aren't out yet, but the bushes and the flowers, we're getting daffodils, the tulips are popping up here. But it's also allergy time will start. That won't hit me really until May, but Mark's been having a little bit of trouble with it already with his eyes, so it's a time to make sure we have Claritin or Zyrtec always in the house, so you can take some antihistamine and kind of cut that off. But we have been we are probably with everybody else. We've been watching the White Lotus. Oh my God, what a show! We had not watched it before. I watched the first series maybe last year, because I was like, maybe I'll try it. I didn't, I watched the first series, and it was I think I'd said this before, it was a little bit dark, but it was okay. And then this second series, and because they were just advertising the third series so much, Mark was like, what's that? Should we watch? Should I watch that? Would I like it? I'm like, I don't know. We could watch series number 2. And series number 2 was actually better for him. It was dark. There's murder, and it's mafia. There's some dark things that are going on, but didn't seem quite as dark as the first series. It seemed a little bit lighter, a little funnier. But yeah, so we watched that, and then I was like, well, we watched that. You liked it, so we can go on and watch the third series, which is on now. So. And I should have just waited. I usually try to wait on these. It's like going back to the old-fashioned weekly TV. So it's not on the whole. You can't stream the whole thing. You got to wait each week. So I think we have 2. I think we have 2 more episodes to watch. We're gonna tape them and watch them the next night or the night after. But yeah, so that's been fairly dark this season. But yeah, we got two more episodes of that. So, you know, it's one of those things where once you get into it, you're just like, we have to keep watching because you have to find out what happens. So that's been interesting. We just watched The Residence on Netflix, which was really fun. It's like a murder mystery in the White House. It was really great. It's like the lines are said so fast, and it's a really cute show. I don't know, 6-7 episodes of it. Really, really cute. I would recommend it. And of course, the Red Sox are back. And of course, they've lost a couple of games so far, but it's been, I really like to watch the Red Sox more this year. We haven't in the past, but I think we're going to try to get away from the news. It's all different, but there's nothing new. Kind of at night, so we're going to try to record, and it's easy to record the games. I don't have to watch them. We don't have to watch them as they're being played, and then you can fast forward through the commercials. So we've been watching the Red Sox, and then the other piece that we've been watching this year is Formula One racing. Oh my goodness, that is so much fun. Like last year, the year before, we watched there's a couple of things on Senna, who was, he died way too young, but he was this amazing Formula One racer. And I think he died in the early 90s, someplace along those lines. But there's a really great actual documentary of his life, which is phenomenal. And then last year, I think they did a mini series on him. So I remember we watched that. And then Netflix has they're doing a documentary series on each year for Formula One. So they just finished or released the Formula One series for the 2024 season. So last season. So we finished watching that, and of course they did the timing is so that finished right before the first Formula One race of 2025. So if you watch that background series, you know all of the kind of the players, you know the drivers, the young ones, the older ones, and you know all the things that are going in the background between each of the different teams, and it's just been really fun. So that now, I mean, these races are international. So the first one was in Australia. So, but I can tape it. You know, it's on at 2:30 in the morning on ESPN, and so I just tape it, and then the next day we'll watch the race. So that was fun. So there's only been 2. There's been Australia, and then there's been China. And I think this is an off week, and then next weekend I think is the race in Japan. Totally a blast watching it now that we know all who the racers are, and the fact that Netflix is filming right now, so you'll be able to see the background of all of these live races now next year. So that's been really, 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 really fun. And yeah, I think that's kind of about it. We're just looking forward to getting some more warmth. Mark keeps saying we're just going to go from winter to summer again, and I have a feeling we are. The temperatures we've had one day I think it reached 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rest of the time there's been some 50s, a lot of 40s still, and just like I said, kind of wet and rainy. It'll be like this, but if you look out through continuing, the forecast in the month of April, it's really still just in the 40s, maybe low 50s, not anything really warm. So I suspect that is what's going to happen. We're going to kind of like be in this level, cold, rainy, wet, 40s, 50s Fahrenheit weather, and then all of a sudden we'll go to 90, like overnight. that will happen. But we're looking forward to just like kind of getting out and feeling the warmth of the sun. And I'm looking forward to working more on my yamp and my Imbolc shawl. I'm really excited about that. So I think that's all for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.